Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I am your host, the #1 Vikings fan extraordinaire, Adam Boyer. Today, we are going to be discussing Washington's 2021 campaign, which ended in a disappointing 7-10 record. Please subscribe to the channel to help us to grow, reach 100 subscribers first, and then move on and hit the 1,000 subscriber mark by 2023. Now, let's get on with the video. We're going to start off by looking at some stats. That'll be the main chunk of the video. We will do some actual just discussion, but we're probably going to start off first of all just with some stats. First of all, Taylor Heinicke, the obvious place to start. 321 of 494, threw for 3,419 yards, 20 touchdowns, 15 interceptions, and a 65% completion rate. Overall, it wasn't a bad year as a passer for Heinicke. The main complaints against him are his lack of pocket awareness, his lack of big play ability, his little bit of a turnover problem. He's threw a few too many interceptions. But overall, he is a good game manager when, unfortunately, Washington needed more than a game manager. They needed someone who could step up and make big plays, and sometimes Heinicke was able to, but not always. 60 rushes, 313 yards, and a touchdown for him on the ground. Those are some pretty nice quarterback rushing numbers. Moving on to our main ball carriers, Antonio Gibson had 258 carries for 1,037 yards. First time in his career he's cracked the 1,000-yard mark, and 7 touchdowns. He did have to work a bit harder for his yards this year than he did last year, with 4 yards a carry this year. Did have 8 fumbles, lost 3 of them, so that's kind of concerning. But overall, pretty nice year for Antonio Gibson. J.D. McKissic was the #2 runner, also the #2 receiver for Washington. He had 48 carries for 212 yards and 2 touchdowns. Moving on to Terry McLaurin, the obviously leading receiver. 77 receptions, 1,053 yards, 5 touchdowns. Really all you need to know, another 1,000-plus yard campaign for Scary Terry. Such a dynamic wide receiver. Washington needs to re-sign him. Not this offseason. I don't think his contract's up this offseason, but Washington needs to keep him around as long as they can. Their #2 receiver, as I mentioned before, was J.D. McKissic. 43 carries, 397 yards, and 2 touchdowns. This is while only playing, I believe, 11 games of the year. He's such an important weapon in that offense, as he demonstrated in the regular season. #2 receiver, followed by #3. First of all, Adam Humphries, 41 receptions, 383 yards. Didn't have a touchdown, but a nice year as a compliment. Obviously not like the the scary compliment you want for a duo with Terry McLaurin, but he pitched him when he needed to. And then of course DeAndre Carter, who kind of evolved over the year. 24 receptions, 296 yards, 3 touchdowns. Bit more of a big play guy. Moving on to the defense, you have Cole Holcomb, who led the team in tackles. 142 total tackles, a sack, 7 passes defended, 2 interceptions. 2 of those tackles, by the way, were for losses, 2 forced fumbles, and a fumble recovery. He was all over the place. I think he's one of the most underrated linebackers in football, and maybe he'll get more attention come this offseason and next year. I hope so. Cameron Curl was the #2 leader in tacklers. 99 total tackles, a sack, 5 passes defended, a fumble recovery, and 2 tackles for loss. Next was Landon Collins. 81 tackles, 3 sacks, 7 tackles for loss, 2 interceptions, 1 forced fumble, and 2 fumble recoveries. This man was a stat machine, and he did so much better after they moved him up to the kind of that hybrid linebacker position. So glad Washington did. Sack leaders, you have Jonathan Allen, obviously, 9 sacks, pay the man. And then Montez Sweat, actually, even though he missed a lot of the year, he had 5 sacks. #3, Deron Payne, 4.5 sacks. Have to wonder if Chase Young would have gotten his season kind of turned around if he would have stayed healthy. Lastly, interception leaders, you have Bobby McCain leading the team with 4 interceptions. #2, all tied for #2. Cole Holcomb, Landon Collins, William Jackson III, all had 2 interceptions. So that is kind of your stat pack. That's all I have in terms of stat. Now we get down to the discussion. Well, Washington, like I said, end of the year, disappointing 7-10 record. I predict them to go 9-8. Maybe I'll release a reaction video to my predictions earlier in the year soon. However, see, I don't think it was so hard I don't think anyone could have gotten Washington's predictions drastically wrong, because everyone was shocked. Their defense was so underperformed. Everyone was expecting them to be a top 5, maybe top 10 unit, and they just were not. So I don't think you can really get the predictions too horribly wrong, because even if you're way off, I mean, who could see? Their defense wasn't that great. Offense even underperformed, even though they weren't expected to be awesome either. But yeah, just a disappointing year all around. Hopefully next year we can get things shaped up. I released a video just the other day entitled the top off-season priorities for Washington. You can it should be linked maybe about right here-ish about now. You can go check that out if you want. Yeah, that's where I'll dive a little bit more into what they need to do this off-season. Today's more of a season recap, and we're nearing the end of the video, but I would like to say that yeah, Washington, I mean, I've already said it, I know, but it was a disappointing year, but I do believe they can get it turned around. You know, they had a lot of close games. Now, there were some blowout games like the Dallas one. I think next year they'll be perfectly capable of beating teams like Philly and Dallas. And remember, this year, both times they could have beaten Philly. They had that interception should I say, that ended the game against Philadelphia. That wasn't really an interception. That hit the ground. The officials reviewed it, and it clearly hit the ground, and they still ruled an interception. That lost the game for us. That is neither here nor there. So yeah, they could have beaten Philly the first time. Maybe if they hadn't had Garrett Gilbert at quarterback, maybe if Heineke or even Kyle Allen was in, they could have beaten them. And then obviously they were capable of beating them the second time. They played Dallas badly. Yeah, Dallas definitely outmatched them. So Washington definitely was not ready to kind of, you know, contend with the heavyweights in the NFC. Hopefully they can build up their offense, get their defense working. And like I said, I talked about that more in the video about what they need to do in the offseason. Make sure to check that out. Okay, everyone, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Again, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And yeah, just share it with your friends if you think someone else might enjoy the channel, or if you think they might enjoy this video. Thank you so much for the support. Don't forget to subscribe. As always, I'm the Vikings fan, and oh, one more thing. Yes, like I mentioned before, we're on the road to 1,000 subscribers by 2023. Don't forget to subscribe. You can do that. The button should be appearing on the screen somewhere. Check out the videos here and here. There should be some videos appearing somewhere on the screen. Anyway, I'm the Vikings fan. I'm out of here. Thanks for watching.